Welcome back. This is a little different from the usual war game stuff that I do, but I thought if there were, of the three people that watch these, if there were people that were, curious about, the Elden Ring Souls series, I'd play a little bit, give you a quick taste of what it's like, maybe get into a little bit as we go of what makes this probably one of my favorite series of games I've ever played. I don't claim to be good at them. I'm not terrible, but I don't claim to be good. I'm not here to explain every secret. I don't know. That's one of the beauties of Elden Ring in particular. But I figured I'd give it a look and give you a peek into what this game is like and what makes it so, in my opinion, incredible. So let's get started. So I'm going to start a new game. And you start off with a little character creation. Now, one of the best things about these series, except for maybe Bloodborne and Sekiro, is that it kind of lets you choose how you want to play. Now, it's got, magic is one of those things that if you tweak it and figure it out, it can be really overpowered. There's a bunch of different classes. I tend to go with melee. Again, I'm not great, so I tend to sort of stick with what I know. If you click this, you could sort of see the attributes. Level is a weird one. It's sort of like how many points they've allotted to the stats already. So, a level 7 hero is going to have, probably a greater total of stat points than, like, say, the bandit at 5. The one I tend to go with, a hero's, I guess, not bad. I think I've played some warrior, or maybe it was vagabond. Just so you know, this is not like I'm walking into this fresh. I've played this game before. I've beaten it on the PlayStation 5. And again, it's one of those things where, like, one thing you may or may not know about this series is it's, famous for its difficulty, but I can tell you that if I can beat it, anyone can. Not that I don't cheat, but the beauty of these games is that they give you a lot of different ways to approach things, especially Elden Ring. That might be, on paper cheesy, but hell, if it gets you through it, I feel like that's the bar that you're trying to get above. I'm going to choose a samurai. I'll choose type A. I don't even know. Call myself Trainwreck if I can spell. Now for this, I'm going to choose... a couple things here could be interesting. A golden seed is something that lets you get more health potions later on down the road, but I don't think you need them to really max that out. I find a stone sword key pretty useful, but again, you can get those, I guess, in game as needed. Those let you sort of unlock secret areas, and they're not too secret. They put a statue, but we'll see. I might, you know what? I'm going to choose a golden seed. Probably should choose. I'm going to choose a stone sword key. I don't really care about any of that, so I'm just going to finish. Now, the nice thing about a samurai, in my mind, is one, it's a melee character, something I'm a little more comfortable with. Two, his weapon is part of what is like a bleed build. I'll show you this in a second. I'm actually going to skip the videos. I figure if you want to see the videos, you could probably see them elsewhere. This is just to show you how to play. So you see the starting character here. He's got some armor. He's got a little bit of a shield so that he can block. It's got a sword, which is going to, have bonus bleed damage. I'll show you that really quickly. So here's your equipment screen. I'll get rid of this. So you got the Uchigatana, and then you can sort of see like passive effects in the middle, lower center. Causes blood loss buildup, 45. So that's basically like a number it tracks. Every hit does 45, and if you hit above, probably creatures have different resistances. So if it's got like a bleed resistance of 600, once you beat 600, it applies this damage, which is like a massive boost. You got a bow, which is good for, separating enemies, bringing one at a time, different things. Your basic armor. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of everything, just because there's a ton to go through. But I don't know if that's what necessarily makes this game special. This is stuff you can all learn, but I guess I will mention here the equip load. There's like medium load. You may have heard, if you know anything about Souls, there's like fat rolling, fast rolling. You want to keep that load, I think in this one, at least below half, and then you can fast roll. When you see things like this, you want to pick it up. Couldn't tell you what that does. You know, could probably look it up, but the things that really make these games special to me in particular are, one, the atmosphere, two, the exploration, and three, the combat. One of the games I've spent the most time playing in the past was Oblivion. Now, Oblivion I loved, but the thing that, because it had the exploration, it had, you know, the open world, it had some atmosphere, I guess. I like Skyrim's atmosphere more, but it didn't, for me personally, have the combat. The combat, I don't click with its first-person combat, so I tend to just go with like a stealth archer, because at least a first-person shooter sort of makes sense to me. The first-person melee never clicks. The Souls games, and this isn't probably true for everyone, but for me, is probably the best sort of action combat I've played. Now, granted, it's hard. Here I'm just sort of exploring a little bit, because actually, as I said, I've played this before, but I don't remember. It's been a while. It handles magic, I think, really well. It handles the action melee combat really well. I just feel like it does everything really well. Now, I think what's going to happen here is there's going to be a boss that appears. One of the trademarks of a lot of these games is you're supposed to die during the tutorial at some point. You see, I'm trying to dodge, which is a good way, but even when I'm getting hit, I don't have any health potions yet. Even when I'm getting hit, my shield is still not absorbing all the damage. So you can sort of see I'm going to get killed. And that's supposed to happen in some form. There are people that can beat that boss, and I honestly couldn't tell you what happens at this point. I can tell you what happens later. I should say there's spoilers, because my mouth just runs, and I don't know what I'll jump into from what part of the game. Again, I'm going to skip the video, but dying in the opening is usually a thing that's supposed to happen. It's not letting me skip the video. So dying here is going to take you to the tutorial proper. And I apologize, I thought it would let me skip the video, but Anyway, so what I was saying is exploration, combat, atmosphere. Skyrim has two of those, exploration, atmosphere. I genuinely really love spending time with Skyrim.
Torrent. Fortune is on his side.
And I know there are people out there that love...
We found him here, after all.
Like Skyrim, like it was a phenomenon, and I'm not surprised. It sort of takes that model and in a lot of ways has perfected it to a great degree. But the combat's never going to be exciting, and that's something you spend a lot of time doing. Elden Ring for me is my sort of Skyrim.
The golden
because it has so much going on in its open world, so much exploration to be done. It has sort of the weird, darker atmosphere that I tend to gravitate to, and brings with it what I think is the best sort of RPG magic and action combat mechanics in the game right now. But again, I know that that's, you know, maybe not to everybody's taste. I genuinely wish that I could enjoy Skyrim's combat more. So my fear is that my controller is messed up. Okay, so we just got our health potions, so you can see now Flask of Crimson Tears on the bottom left. You can sort of scroll through. One of the neat things about the last couple of games is that if you hold down on the D-pad, it automatically goes to the first slot. Here's the first slot. I don't think it used to be that way, but they've been doing that in the more recent remakes or versions of this series. So put whatever's most important right there, and you can always get to it easily. And that's true of anything on this thing. So if you, like, up is magic, so you could always put your favorite spell. Anyway. Again, so there's like a little ghost here. Recall the arts of war and your warrior's blood. Down there's a cave that's part of the tutorial. Here, I don't know if you can skip this or not. I guess you could. I'm gonna go do the cave anyway. Maybe this is if you just want to skip to the end, but let's go do the cave. You can see that's an item up there you can get. Might be another item up there you can get. Not sure why that's got gold. Usually a gold thing is telling you, like, there's a boss monster you need to beat to unlock it, but... So like many of these sites of grace, usually they're called bonfires. Most people, you're going to hear them call bonfires because that's what it was in Dark Souls, which is where the series really, and Demon Souls, but Dark Souls is where this series, I think, really exploded. You know, they're going to tell you how to play. You know, backstabbing is one of those little tactical things you can do if you can get behind the enemy in the right spot. You will do massive damage. So guarding is what you can do with the shield. Now, if you can... One of the things that the series is if you can parry, great. I can't parry. My timing's always been terrible. It requires pretty particular timing. But this game introduces a thing where if you block, you can sort of counter anyway. And so that made it so... It's not quite as powerful as a parry, but it made it so that people like me that aren't good at the timing can still get something done. It makes like a sort of a sword and shield character a lot more viable. And since that's how I always play, I appreciated that. You know, again, I'm skipping through, like, if you really want to learn how to play. So you saw how he bounced off my shield there. Now, in past games, you could kick. I don't know if you can in this. I think you got to do a sort of a jump attack. Jumping is new to the series. You sort of have to have something like that if you're going to have an open world and not have it be stupid, like, oh, this curb is 3 inches and I can't scale it. Just trying to get through this as fast as I can. But you can sort of see the basic idea. You know, it's very action-y. But I feel like it does require skill. It does require practice. People should know going into it what these games are like. When I first played Demon Souls, that was, like I said, the first one I ever played. And I'm not going to lie, I spent, here in this game they introduced sneaking, which is nice. I spent the first 10 hours of the game playing the first level, which I know for a lot of people is going to be a real turnoff, and I don't blame you. But I can tell you in those 10 hours, one, again, the atmosphere and the exploration is what kept me coming back, which is why I don't know what it was exactly, but it just instantly hooked me, the sort of vibe the world put together. Saw that big blood explosion. That means I sort of stacked enough bleeding to do the bonus damage. Those stakes are just telling you, like, hey, if you die, you come back here instead of somewhere else. It's like a little checkpoint. So this is going to be like a mini-boss. When you have a mini-boss, you have those gold fog doors. So I just did a counter, and I mistimed it. But sometimes the stuns let you do like it's not like a literal insta-kill, but they're on the ground completely helpless and you can just put one through them. But like I was saying, it took me a long time to get good, as some people will say. I don't know how to get that one right there. You can see off to the right there's a little treasure. I'm not sure. Let me go back real quick. I don't know if I've ever gotten that now that I think about it. Again, the exploration. Like, there are things to this, like, you're like, oh, I remember I was playing Dark Souls, and it's over there somewhere. I'm not going to worry about it. Like, I was playing Dark Souls for a while, and there was always this treasure I could never find. And then eventually, I don't know, on my 4th or 5th playthrough, years after I'd started playing, I finally realized, oh wait, I can drop down here, you know, the proverbial here, and there we go. Stone sword keys. Here's, I think I took that as my... So you can rest. Resting gets you your health back. It also resets all the enemies. That's sort of the trade-off. This might be a double... See how there's 2 gargoyles? That might take 2 stone sword keys, but that's what you're looking for. Oh, I did have 2. So, when you unlock these can be like, sort of, not hidden, because obviously it's right here, but like extra dungeons that, you know, with puzzles, with difficulty, with, you know, special items you can find. But I'm not going to do that now because I'm way under leveled. So this is something that's actually new to Elden Ring, is that the idea of, you know, they put something there right at the beginning. You would think, oh, it's right at the beginning, I should deal with it. You should absolutely not. This game... And here we go. I don't know what other people think. To me, I think this game looks gorgeous. I'm not going to say like it's like the best looking game ever made, but again, atmosphere. Part of that is a little graphics whorishness, but to me, like, this really, you know, scratches the itch that I have for graphics. You know, you got this tree. Yeah, get into the map in a second.
Oh, yes. Tarnished, are we? Come to the lands between for the Elden Ring? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table Hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity.
One tip is you usually want to talk to them until they start repeating dialogue
there
options.
There is one shining ray of hope for even the maidenless. Me. Vare. Take care to listen. Are you familiar with grace? The golden light that gives life to you, tarnished. You may also behold its golden rays, pointing in a particular direction at times. That is the guidance of grace, the path.
And the reason why it's important to do that with any NPC you meet is because this game is not going to hold your hand in terms of doling out story, plot points, what's going on. Again, I can tell you I've played Dark Souls a number of times, and it wasn't until like the 3rd time where I finally had to go look up what the story was and realize, oh, there's little bits here and there that I completely overlooked or missed or had no idea.
Grace's guidance will reveal the path forward.
But
most certainly,
obviously, this guy being right here, it's going to be sort of slightly obtuse info dump.
The home of the decrepit demigod, Godric the Grafted. It's time you set off.
So I have a feeling he's going to start repeating the dialogue. But so he's talking about Castle Stormvale, which is, I think, up there.
Grace would guide you if you seek the Elden Ring, maidenless as you are. It's time you if you seek the...
when he talks about the grace guiding you, you can see sort of this golden and it's sort of pointing you in that direction. I'm just going to rest here because this is sort of like a reset point, so if I die, this is one place I can come back to. You can also fast travel. I'll show you the map. So, that was the person I was just talking to. These are the places I've been so far, so you can always fast travel back. Give you an idea of the map. Again, exploration is a big key. So you start off really not knowing anything. You can see on the right, early day. Time matters. There are things that come out at night that do not come out during the day. So as a sort of thing, again, spoilers, you can grab materials for crafting. Crafting is something I usually hate in games to some degree, but it is not too bad in this. Summoning pools are what you need to summon help. You need to craft an item to summon that help. I think you just need Roa fruit. Go to inventory. Maybe I can't craft yet. Anyway, the thing about this, part of what I'm going to do here is like, a lot of people hit these games, they're like, I don't know what to do, and then they bounce off hard. And so part of what I'm going to help with here, hopefully, is to tell you, hey, like, if you do these things, this can at least get your foot in the door. So that person just told us you want to go to Stormvale Castle, the golden whatever is going to point you in that direction. It's a lie. You do not want to go to Stormvale Castle first. If you do, you're going to sort of run into a bit of a wall. There's a better path to take that can ease you into the game. It also puts this enemy right in front of you first thing. The lore behind the enemy is very interesting, but you should not be dealing with him now. He will literally beat the crap out of you. I'll show you, actually, because you are not ready for this guy, but I'll show you what you can do. First of all, I'll show you, you have an attack, got a heavy attack, a little slower, and then every weapon has a special attack that uses, you have the red bar on the upper left, health, blue is mana, green is stamina. Stamina is a huge thing in this game, in this series. But I'll go show you what happens when you deal with this guy. This fruit, I think, is what you need to craft the thing that lets you get help. So I'm going to lock on, and I'm going to craft that probably. Now you can summon help. One of the things that's so great about this series is the online component, which is really unique. People can be summoned to help you in specific circumstances. People can engage you. It's sort of like a PvP thing. So boom. You can see, like, I barely dented his health bar. Like, you're not meant to deal with this guy first. A lot of people, I'm speaking in this weird... I've heard stories where people come out and they hit this guy and they're like, well, what's going on? Like, I can't beat him. I guess this game's not for me or whatever. You're not supposed to. But the thing that this series is notorious about is not telling you what to do. So you have to go around him. Now, how you go around him is up to you. And this is the thing I love about Elden Ring that was not really present in the other games. How you get around him is up to you. How you do stuff is up to you. And one thing you can do in this game is you can overlevel. So this thing here marks where you die. When you have souls, you can just see my souls, went from 0 to 601. When you die, you lose basically all of the souls. Souls are currency. Currency to level, currency to buy, it's all the same currency. It's all souls. Oops, I'm trying to get in here without dying. I did. But at least now I don't have to hopefully aggravate the guy to get back here. Anyway, like I was saying, this game is notorious about not helping you, not spoon-feeding you information, and I feel like with a little bit of guidance, it's a lot easier to get on your way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this way, give that tree sentinel a wide berth. You can, whoops, I missed, but sheep, yeah, they're going to go into a roll, defensive roll. Now, the only reason why I'm showing you I'm slaughtering this sheep is because, again, you can pick up crafting material, which is something that was not in other games in the series. As you can see, that's where my souls are to collect. I want to pick those up. Now I'm going to go in here. Again, you get another bonfire. And what ends up happening is fast travel. You start building up a network, right? So now, you know, it's what makes getting around this world. I gotta say, for sort of like a first-time open world game, I feel like they really knocked it out of the park. You know, here's going to be a merchant.
You're a tarnished. I can see it. And I can also see that you're not after my throat. Then why not purchase a little something? I am Kale, purveyor of fine goods.
Again, it's always worth talking to everyone until they start repeating.
Selling wares as I travel. The land has been tainted by madness since the shattering of the Elden Ring. It's only tarnished like yourself, who keep things from drying up entirely. Let's say you're a very welcome customer. You know, if you can spare the runes, you should buy yourself a crafting kit. A crafting kit allows you to make basic items on your own. Essential, really, if you intend to survive out here for any duration. The kit costs a bundle, and I admit I do take my cut. But the important thing is that you survive. Every customer counts, after all. You know, if you should
So again,
buy
he's
us a
repeating, so I'm just
crafting
gonna...
kit, essentially, the kit costs a bundle.
Now, like I said, I'm not a huge crafter. You get these like cookbooks and stuff. I have 600, so I can afford one at the moment. You get little things here, little bits of info. You could probably make this game a lot easier on yourself if you get into potions and blah blah blah. I don't
Goodbye.
take advantage of
Nice to do
those systems
business.
enough, and I should. So let me see. First of all, I'm going to go to my inventory. Sorry, my equipment. And I thought there was... I'm not going to worry about it yet. So one of the things you want to do when you first start this game is you want to make sure you rest at a few different sites of grace. It has to be different ones, and I recommend that you start off at the first one, you hit up that second one there. And I know I said you don't want to go to Stormvale Castle, but you want to go a little bit that way at first. And the reason why is because you're going to hit up a third one up ahead. And I'm hoping that unlocks something. And again, it's something that, like, I've heard stories of people saying, like, yeah, I played like 5 hours of the game and never unlocked X. And I'm like, that would really probably sour my experience. Now, when I first played this, I unlocked X just by probably accident. But yeah, you want to get to this camp. Let me see if I can just skirt the camp. Let's see if it works. It did. This is what you're trying to unlock, and you want to unlock this to really, make the game progress as it should. And again, the game's not going to help you. It's not going to tell you to do this. But this is an important thing. You want to do 3 sites of grace, and I think it's this one in particular you sit at, you unlock this.
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina.
Again, there's tons of lore. They talk about her
I
left eye,
offer
everything
you
going
an
on.
accord.
It's really worth looking into, but you're not going to get it from the game itself. You're going to end up going to YouTube channels all
Have
over the
you
place.
heard of the Finger Maidens?
And people like Vati Vidya, I think his name, I don't know
They
how to pronounce it.
serve the two fingers,
But like, yeah, there's tons of lore videos out there.
offering
I think they're worth
guidance
looking into because,
and aid.
you know,
to the
stories are
tarnished.
stories. Whether it scratches, you know, your itch or not is hard to say. But
you,
there's definitely a lot
I
to
am
these
afraid,
games story-wise that I think
Maidenness.
doesn't get appreciated because they don't,
I can play the role
you know,
of
punch you in the
maiden,
face with it.
turning runes
So earlier
into
being told
strength
we're maidenless, here
to
she's
aid
saying I
you
can be your
in
maiden,
your
you know,
search for
things are
the
going
Elden
on.
Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erd Tree. Then it's settled
I have no idea what happens if you
Summon
refuse.
me
I mean, like in
by
an
grace
RPG, right? You know,
to turn runes
it's like, hey, here's the
strength.
quest. Nah. And then your GM's like, oh, crap. I don't know if that's what happens in this
Another
case, but
matter. I bequeath to you this ring.
you want that ring.
Use it to traverse great distances.
That's why we want to make sure we unlock this to get going,
It
because
will
we want that
summon
ring.
a spectral steed named Torrent. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect.
I don't think I can level up.
Shall I turn your root? Let my hand share them with me.
Yeah, I don't have enough. You're going to see it's
Your
red
thoughts,
811. That's how many I
your
need.
ambitions.
I've got 398. Okay, so now I have the spectral. Now, what I recommend doing is putting let me see if it'll putting that over here on the side. You don't need to put up like slots. What you do is, at least on a controller on the PC, you hold Y and it brings up a secondary menu. Now I've got this horse. Now this horse is great because it lets you get around, it lets you double jump. But fighting from horseback is also very useful for certain enemies. It might seem awkward at first, but it's really necessary. Dragons, I think, are almost necessary. So stab does incredible damage. Sneaking helped me, you know, get the jump on him. Sneaking is really useful when you're trying to... As you can see, there's like a little encampment here. Here's a little chest. You want to... One of the reasons to come to this camp is there's a couple of pieces of good equipment. But then this is not, you know... Sites of Grace are trying to get you to go to Stormvale Castle, which is up this way. You don't want to go that way. You can see the golden trail pointing you that way. Again, like I said, I'm not good at this game, so I might die a couple times. But I'm trying to... There's a couple things here. These wagons, lore-wise, the wagon I just got the sword from, these wagons are sort of used for transporting... I think, you know, don't quote me on this, like I was saying, bows can be used to kite. Separate soldiers from one another. Anyway, these wagons, I think, are used to transport deceased royalty. And so they usually have treasure on them in some capacity. You can see off in the distance there another site of grace. They're all over the place. This game's generous. And really makes getting around easier. That's one of the things that makes Elden Ring, I think, so much better than past games, that there's so many quality of life improvements that sort of, you know, dull the annoying edges of the Soul series. You know, like the difficulty. You know, now there's so many sites of grace that when you die, you don't have to go that far. Other games make you do like long runs. They have you know, those stakes of Marika, which let you respawn there when you die instead of somewhere else. That's nice because it means, again, they usually put you right outside a boss fight, so it's easier to get right back into it. You know, there's all these things that just make this game so much easier. And then the main... Oops, now that guy's got a horn. That's bad. So I screwed that up. I'm gonna die here. Because he just alerted everyone. And I'm not sure how to deal with this. So that was, I wasn't paying attention that he was a signaler that was going to alert the whole base. But, you know, again, these games have a reputation for being difficult. They also, I think, in my mind, are extremely fair. Like, I'm in this position because I screwed up. So the question is, can I get out of it? See, when you take a hit, your stamina goes down. Stamina, like I said, is a big part of this game. Because if you have stamina left after you take the hit, your shield worked. If you don't have enough stamina after you take the hit, that excess gets transferred to your health. So you really want to make sure you have your stamina going at all times. Because it really is the key to this game. Just trying to get around her backstab. So I've got 1 health potion left. So this is probably not going to be the run. Let's see if I can deal with somebody else. Seems like the rest of the people have calmed down a bit. Now you're going to see these things throughout the world. You want to get to them as soon as possible. They're actually marked on your map before... Nope. Use that last health potion. Let me see if I can look at my map real quick. No, because he's going to kill me. It'd be stupid. He's not dead yet. The PC version is notorious for having those little hiccups that you just saw. Little glitches. The PlayStation 5 did not have those. Anyway, let me show you on the map. You're going to see, you see that? It's starting to mark things in that I found on the map. Stormgate, Gatefront Ruins. But right behind it is this little glowing thing. Those glowing things show up on your map even when nothing's filled in. And you want to hunt those down. They're usually on some kind of road. Pick it up, and it's the map. And you're going to need to sort of do that for every area. So that's why you sort of want to do this area first. But then once you do, you don't want to proceed up towards the castle. You want to go in a different direction. But the reason why I'm sticking around here is because usually parts of these ruins... Just gonna backstab. There's usually... here, I can show you these skulls that are glowing. You want to either hit them with a sword or run them over with torrent, because inside is a golden ruin. Golden ruins can be used to get souls, which are, again, the currency in this game. You can use them to level up. Basically like free money or experience. Now, the reason why I'm still messing around here is because usually in these ruins there is like an underground passage of sorts that you have to hunt down. And in those underground passages is usually... here you know something. While I'm backstabbing, I'm invincible. So that's a good thing to remember. If you can get a backstab off, nobody can hit you for a brief window while you're finishing the animation. So again, like, I know I'm not... There's the passage I was talking about. You're always sort of looking for something like this in a lot of these little enclaves. I'm hoping there's not too much here. Okay, and then let's see what the equipment is that we're putting down here again. Okay, whetstone knife. Okay, that's useful because it lets you... Oh, and now you get your first sort of special power. Storm Stomp. So this is like a special ability you can attach to a weapon that lets it do something unique. Storm Stomp is probably going to stamp on the ground and sort of knock people over or something like that. I thought... Let me see if I remove this for a second. Let me just see. Because I thought my Uchigatana had... He's putting it away, but there's a way to make it attack once you put it away. And that's sort of like the Uchigatana's special default one. I could switch it to Storm Stomp if I want. But the... Actually, let me rest instead of just unlocking because I'm out of potions. And then maybe I can try that. So as you can see, all the enemies are reset. That's something to be aware of if you're gonna... rest. I just want to trigger one guy, but not that main guy. So let me see if I can... He's pretty well shielded, but let me... Again, arrows are a great way to... Boom. I'm a little nervous because I don't have a shield, because I want to try. Nope, doesn't work. You can see the word unsheath over there. I'm not sure why it's not doing it. There we go. I think that just did it. So I had to hold the setup button, which in the controller is the left trigger, and then do the attack with the right button to make it happen. And it does extra damage. It probably builds up bleeding a little faster. Let me get the shield going again, because... And again, now we can sort of get around a lot faster because of this horse. So again, it's trying to get you to go to Stormvale Castle. You do not want to go there.
Oi! You there?
Now, someone's talking to you, and it's a little tricky to find out who it is. First of all, you can use these telescopes, sort of get a lay of the land.
You?
Let's see if I can...
Yeah, you there? Stop pretending you can't see me.
I always have trouble finding this guy. NPCs in this game often have quest lines.
Why won't anyone look me in the eye? I'm not that ugly.
Okay, it's this guy. So there you go.
What'd
He's an
go do
NPC.
that for?
And now he'll have his own
Oh,
quest line, but again, the
yes.
quest lines in these
I
games can be
remember.
very
Some
difficult to
clod
follow and
turned me
manage.
into a tree. You were just breaking the
And
spell,
if I were
weren't
you, like, if
Thank you.
it helps you enjoy the game,
My
just
name's
go look it
Bog.
up. Who
I
cares?
was pushed out of the cave, told not to come back, not ever. Then I ended up as a tree. Lucky you came along, really.
Again, you want to exhaust
What
dialogue.
a shame. When they threw me out of the cave, they took everything I owned. And so this is all I have to express my thanks. I hope you can forgive me. Or, well, if you can afford to wait for a while, I could sneak back into the cave and bring back something of actual value. Then I'd be of some real use to you, I reckon. Right, but I'll need a moment. I'm frightened of them, so I have to gather myself. My knees start knocking, just thinking about that god-awful cave on the shore. Right.
Okay, so he's repeating dialogue. You're good to go. Again, let's get back on the horse because the world's a big place and we want to get there faster. So it's good to unlock him just because he has a good... he's sort of like an NPC with kind of a fun, nice quest line. He's one of the good guys, so to speak. So again, like I said, the game wants you to go to Stormvale Castle. Oh, remember I said that there's people that only come out at night? That sort of dark knight on horseback guarding the bridge, he's one of them. He's one of them. But let me show you where I believe is the best place to go. Now, the nice thing about being on horseback is smithing stones are used to upgrade equipment, your weapons. Best thing about being on horseback is even if he comes at you, you can just run by him, and eventually he'll leave you alone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you... Oh, this is one of the things I love. You know, I was telling you these wagons are like a funeral procession for carrying royalty. Well, here's one of those processions. If you can take down the caravan and then take down those giants carrying it, you can then raid the back and get the equipment. I find it to be kind of a fun little, tactical challenge. I'm not going to do it now because, again, I'm just trying to show you where I think you should go next in order to make your life a lot easier. Stormvale Castle is not an easy task. And I think the game knows what it's doing. It's sort of lying to you a little bit. But if, again, Elden Ring being an open world makes it so you can tackle problems differently. One of those things you can do, as I probably mentioned, is you can over level. Go for it. Who cares? Whatever makes these games fun for you. If like not getting through them is going to ruin the experience, and get through them however you can. I'll show you this. This is a little Stake of Marika. That means you can respawn there if you want. Here is a little one-on-one fight you can do that can give you a little extra bonus equipment or something. But I'm not going to do that yet. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get here. Oops, I'm going the wrong way, so I guess it's good I looked at the map. Now, one of the things is you're going to see that's sort of like a thing that helps you jump. Either jump up or jump down. So if I hop into this, it's going to shoot me up into the air. And sometimes you can get to a place that you might not be able to get to. In this case, I'm going to use it to... I can't go down. I'd like to go. I'm trying to get to that bridge, I think. So maybe I do need to go back up. Now on the horse, you can sort of... There's another one to help you jump up or jump down. Now when you get to this bridge, you're going to see it's a bit tricky. You know, there's some guards, there's trebuchet, catapult, not a catapult, I'm not sure, arbalist, I'm not sure, whatever's going to shoot this giant arrow at me. This would be tricky, but the good thing about being on a horseback is you move quickly. So if you can sort of not do that, sort of zigzag, you can get past the guy, get to the other side, and get to the Weeping Peninsula. Rest at the Touch of Grace. It's going to create a fast travel point and reset everybody. So if people are chasing you, it'll reset the enemy so you don't have to deal with them. And then, let me go to the map. Then you're on your way. This is where you want to explore first. You see there's a road somewhere on here. There's going to be a map. You can track it down as you go. You can see now there's this other golden thing pointing you to the south. Go here, clear this island first, get a bunch of levels, and it's going to make the rest of the progression a lot easier. So, yeah, so there you go. Maybe I'll do some more of these at some point, but I just wanted to give you like some pointers because, again, I hate seeing people that could potentially enjoy this game, this series, bounce off of it because of the peculiarities of the series that you've never potentially maybe encountered in games before. So many games like Skyrim, to its credit, is so accessible. Anybody can jump in. It'll tell you exactly where to go, what to do, and that's good. And this doesn't do it, but I feel like if you can get over a little bit of a hurdle. Now, granted, the mechanics, getting good at the combat, that was a big hurdle for me. But once I did it, I never have to do it again. You know, these games all play somewhat similarly. But anyway, I hope this was useful in some way, and I hope some people out there maybe give this a shot, and maybe I'll play some more at some point. Take care.